Clams, a beloved seafood enjoyed in a spaghetti vongole or a hearty chowder. They come in many forms, always playing a vital role in the habitat they live in. So how is this mollusk farmed, and how did the small town of Cedar Key become a major player in this industry? Clams are in the same family as scallops, mussels, and oysters. They each have two hinged shells, which makes them bivalves. There are more than 15,000 species of clams, but only a small number are farmed and enjoyed globally. To learn how clams are farmed, we traveled to Cedar Key, a small town on Florida's Gulf Coast. With fewer than 800 residents, Cedar Key produces more than 90% of Florida's farmed hard clams and is the second largest producer in the United States, just after Virginia.
3 years ago or 2 years ago, the last time they checked, Cedar Key shipped out over 100 million clams.
100 million clams.
100 million. It's 120 million, I want to say.
That's Captain Bobby, a lifelong fisherman who shifted to clam farming after Florida's net ban in 1995.
Ever since I was about 10 years old, I've been on the boat driving with them and took over operations here back in 2018. And now have stepped up and taken general manager and run the whole business as a whole now.
And that's Tim Solano, a second-generation farmer and owner of Cedar Key Aquaculture, one of the town's largest clam producers and exporters.
Mercenaria, northern clam as they call it.
That's the marine biological name for hard clams, the species farmed here in Cedar Key. During our visit, Tim, Bobby, and several other farmers we met along the way offered valuable insights into the local clam industry.
Because clams are filter feeders. They love nitrogen. They are all over eating carbon out of the water. One single clam can take 1.6 grams of carbon out of the water in a year. And that same clam can take 0.09 grams of nitrogen out of the water in a year. So putting that in words, one farm can take 200,000 pounds of carbon out of the water in a year, just from farming. And that carbon doesn't affect the meat, it goes right into the clam shell.
One adult clam can filter up to 20 gallons of water a day, making them very important for the health of their environment. So what does it take to grow 120 million clams along Florida's Gulf Coast, and how does the region benefit from it?
Clams are a long time to grow from beginning to end. It's an investment that normally takes roughly about 18 to 24 months from hatchery to final table product.
It depends on market demand and what recipe the clams are destined for. It all begins at the hatchery, where broodstock clams are taken care of, and their youngs are guided through the first stages of life.
So when the clams are spawned, they go through a post-rearing phase for about 6 to 8 weeks, where they're basically just floating around in the tank, and then they start to form their shell at that point. They start to drop to the bottom, then they go from the tanks, and then they go into upwelling systems, where they're there for roughly, let's say, a month to 2 months, depending on the time of year and the flow of food in the water.
This is a delicate stage, as the clams are very small and their feed must be carefully adjusted to their size.
The hardest part of running the hatchery is growing the algae. That's the most difficult part.
And why is that?
Well, because the little baby clams, they need Gerber baby algae. They got to have certain types of algae. They can't eat the big algae like the big clams do.
Okay.
They have to have little microalgae.
They're kept in sterilized salt water and exposed to UV light, making this stage both delicate and costly. Then comes the nursery stage.
Then they go from there to actual nursery bags and get planted out in the water. So when we plant our nursery bag, we put roughly 10,000 to 11,000 clams per bag. In nursery phase, the first beginning, when it's out there for about 3 months, we put them in about 10,000 because they're a lot smaller, so you can fit more in the bag.
During the nursery stage, clams can be raised in tubs under close supervision.
See my tanks there, big long tanks?
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
And there's a big pool pump at the end of the dock that pump the water through the tanks.
Okay, and then
That's how the nursery works.
And these tanks are the nurseries?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And those blue barrels you see around some of the barrels, they're different mesh sizes, so you can sieve your seed to get the right size seed out of the nursery. You want to harvest off the bigger ones and let the little ones keep growing.
Okay. Or they can be placed on the ocean floor, where they grow in their natural habitat but face greater risks from predators. After outgrowing their nursery bags, the clams are transferred to larger nets for their grow-out stage.
Then we'll go back out there, we'll pull those bags, bring them in. We then check the size of the clams, we'll count them out to see how many gets us roughly about 1,300 clams per bag, then we'll rebag them up. And so how we get the numbers is we'll take a liter cup, we'll take a half-liter scoop, we'll dump it up here on the table, we'll then count how many clams are in that half liter, and then we'll turn around and let's say put 2.5 liters in because that gets us 1,350 or so that's how we kind of use our numbers to roughly guesstimate how many clams we're putting in each bag.
These belts are made by connecting several bags together, and each farmer uses a different number of bags. That's John, a third-generation farmer.
That's the great thing. Everyone can do how they want.
Well, that's it. Well, even the farming part, everybody does what they want.
Oh, yeah.
Like I do 7-bag rolls. You said you do 9.
9, yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, we
But see, when I'm clam gambling, John, I'm always rolling 7.
right.
Clam gambling, never thought I'd hear those two words together.
Because when we go out there, we basically just unroll these belts out onto the ocean floor. So one guy will roll it out, 2 people follow him behind, and they're staking those pipes down into the mud as they're going. And that's how we planned our clams.
Captain Bobby took us out on the boat to see the farmers at work. It was a hot August day in Florida, so the breeze on the water felt really nice. Out on the water, farmers unroll nursery and grow-out bags as they prepare for the next cycle or get ready to harvest their clams.
The belts that we were rolling up earlier, now they're going to be getting unrolled back out here. So that seed basically was out of the water for only like 4 hours. Pulled it this morning, belted it up, bringing it right back out. So getting them back in their home, getting them back feeding, and having a swing.
Meanwhile, John and his team were planting nursery bags.
Right. I don't think we don't have anything right now.
Right.
You guys can kind of see.
And the guy in the no shirt on, he's rolling them out. And the other 2 guys, they're one's on each side and going down. And so one guy will do this side, and the other guy, he'll come right behind him and do that side.
So the clams are literally under us right now.
Yeah. Where the boat sits, there's fresh plants from the past couple months underneath us.
Okay. And how do you know, like, these have been harvested today? These have been harvested for, I don't know how long. How do you know?
I just, honestly, it's old. I just write it down on a blank piece of printer paper, and I just write down how many bags I planted and how many belts and what date.
Okay.
And then
He's
when I
got a
go,
little black book he keeps with all the dates and stuff.
and then when I harvest, I just erase
Okay.
what I harvested.
Fun fact, some clams can live up to 500 years, but the ones we enjoy are usually about 2. So then it was our turn. Time to pull out some clams.
All right, well, here's our bag of clams. And you can see this is the bottom of the bag that was buried in the sand. And then, of course, here's the top of the bag with the fouling on it. So this is the top of the bag. And you can see how it goes.
We were in a quiet spot far from the shore, sorting clams and chatting the afternoon away. And on a normal day, how long would you be out here in the water?
About 4 or 5 hours out here.
What's your favorite way to eat them other than raw?
I like to just throw them on the fire.
And by the way, did you grow up here? Did you grow up in Cedar Key?
No, in Crystal River, right down the coast.
Down the coast? And
25 miles by boat.
Okay.
I came here when the clamming started to be a clammer. Yep. Crystal River was just getting too big and too much people. And I've always liked Cedar Key. I've been in and out of Cedar Key by boat my whole life, basically.
Am I hired yet? While sorting the clams, we found some interesting byproducts from our harvest. What is this?
That is a type of sea squirt. It's an animal. And it's actually, it'll change shape and change form if you let it. If you leave it alone in peace and quiet, it'll expand and do weird things. But right now, when it's frightened, it just balls up tight. Yeah, it's an animal, and it's an algae-eating animal. Oh, that's a cucumber.
No way.
Yeah, sea cucumber.
Oh, what? It looks like a snail.
Yeah, that's a sea cucumber.
No way. I've never seen that before.
In some Asian countries, they farm them, grow them. I've seen that on TV.
Like a delicacy? They eat it,
Mm-hmm.
So the ideal temperatures for clams to grow is in the 20s Celsius or 70s in Fahrenheit, and any temperature above that might affect their growing or even kill them.
Yes, we have bad summers, you know, and some people are speculating, well, the rising water temperatures in the summers are killing the clams. But obviously this summer we've had a good year. So unless we get a heat event still, but it's late in the season. It's looking like we have a good summer going this year.
Back on the dock, the clams go into the tumbler for sorting.
And what this system kind of does is it's kind of just knocking the clams around a little bit to help with the hollow ones to pop open. When they're down in that mud for so long, they get pressurized and they close up. So they're real hard to open even if there's nothing in them. So by tumbling them through this and water pressure spraying as well, it kind of helps with knocking the clams open and helping us finding the hollows so that they're not going to a customer and they're getting a bag with no meat in it. We want to make sure that the bag that's going to the customer is a bag that we would take home to feed our family as well. That's our motto.
Or they get sorted in the traditional way, just like we did on the boat with Captain Bobby. Once sorted, they're taken into the refrigerated room.
So this is where we actually do the sizing, bagging, tagging, boxing. The whole final step of the process happens in this room.
The clams are bagged by weight, 5¼ pounds to be exact, or sometimes counted by the piece in bags of 50 or 100.
These clams would be sized to go to like New Jersey, New York, and this would be your clam that you would normally see here in Florida. So these grow a little bit faster if you're just growing them to this size, but if you're trying to grow them to this, you gotta let them get a little bit longer.
So how exactly do you clean, store, and enjoy clams?
So we actually, on our clams, have purging instructions. It's where you can actually put the clams in water at your house in the sink, let's say in a bowl, add a little bit of salt to the water, and they'll actually start to purge out a little bit, let's say, of the sand from them filter feeding.
And how do you cook your clams?
With a little bit of white wine and however you want to do them, and just steam them right in there. When them clams pop open, they're ready to be eaten.
And is it safe to eat clams raw?
Yes.
Okay.
We can eat some raw clams tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've heard that they might be dangerous because there's a parasite, or not really? No?
No.
We eat them raw?
Yeah.
We eat them raw, okay.
Yeah.
So really, it all comes down to knowing your source, your farmer, and where the clams are grown. When you do, you can safely enjoy them raw.
So there's just a lot more handling that goes behind it. We have to take shellfish handler classes every year. They put new information out on that. So not just me, but even the guys that work here, they also have to be shellfish handler certified as well. So it's a big process. The state is always coming up here. We get quarterly audits from the state. They come in at random times. But we want it to be like that because we want that accountability from farm to table for the customer.
And that trust, everyone,
Yes.
they would trust your product.
On our tag, it has the information of the time that it was pulled. It shows the lease number that it was pulled, the parcel where it came from, our certification number for our farm. It has all the information on it.
Clams are not only farmed to be enjoyed, but Floridians have used it in restoration projects.
Down here, we also have the quahog, which is the Campeche Mercenaria. But they're harder to farm in the bags. They're actually used more for restoration. So they'll go out there and plant. They've got down south, it's called an 1 billion clam project, where they take the clams and they're basically just planting them back into beds so that these clams can just naturally be cleaning the water out there. This year's been an amazing year. Of course, the past 2 years, we've had a lot of trials and challenges with hurricanes and heat as well. We had a coastal heat wave hit Cedar Key back in 2023 before the hurricanes. So even before the hurricanes hit, we got smacked with about 40% death across the board in our industry. And then the hurricanes came and basically slapped us on the bottom out the door. But one thing about farmers is we're super strong. Everybody's came back. They're replanting again. As you see here, we're rebuilding our docks. We're getting back into the cycle because this is what we love. But this town is a town that comes together. They fight together, they live together, and they work together. It doesn't matter whose belief, who voted for who. When something happens like that, everybody comes together here. And that's why I love this town. That's why I'm gonna raise my kids here, because it's just like one big family. When you're driving down the road, you better keep that hand up because you're just waving to everybody, because everybody knows, even if you don't, they're still waving to you. Everybody kind of tries to scratch each other's back, because when a whole community does good, that's when the industry does good.